There is a specific kind of silence that is louder than any scream. It is the silence of a person who is no longer in your life physically, but who takes up every inch of space in your mind mentally. You know exactly who I am talking about. You wake up, and their name is the first whisper in your heart. You go through your day, distracted by work, by family, by life, but underneath the noise, there is a constant, low-frequency hum of their presence. You check your phone, but there is no notification. You check their social media, and they seem to be living a life completely untouched by your absence. And yet, when you lay your head down at night, in that space between waking and sleeping, you feel them. You feel a tug in your chest. You feel a sudden wave of warmth, or a sudden pang of sadness, that doesn't feel like it belongs to you. It feels like they are right there, standing just outside the door of your reality, wanting to knock, but stopping their hand at the last second. And this confusion is the most painful part. You ask yourself the same questions over and over again. If the connection was real, why did they leave? If they truly cared, why are they silent? Am I making this up? Am I just holding on to a fantasy? My friend, listen to me closely today. You are not making this up. You are not crazy. And you are certainly not alone in this feeling. Psychology tells us that human behavior is complex, but energy is simple. Energy never lies. And the truth that is often too complicated for them to say out loud, is that there is a person who still has profound, deep, and overwhelming feelings for you, yet they are actively choosing to stay away. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? We are taught that love seeks closeness. We are taught that if someone loves you, they will move mountains to be with you. But that is a fairy tale. In the real world of spiritual connections and deep psychological wounding, sometimes love does not make people run toward you. Sometimes real, intense love makes people run away from you. Today, we are going to walk into the mind and soul of the person who is running. We are going to uncover the 3 hidden, psychological, and spiritual reasons why someone can love you deeply, crave you intensely, and yet choose silence as their safety mechanism. By the end of this message, you will not only understand their behavior, but you will find peace in knowing that their distance is not a sign of your lack of worth. It is a sign of their internal battle. Let's begin with the first truth, which is often the hardest to accept because it goes against everything our ego tells us. Reason number 1. You are the mirror they are afraid to look into. The first reason they stay away is not because they don't feel enough for you. It is because they feel too much. In psychology, there is a concept known as the shadow self. It is the part of us that holds our insecurities, our past traumas, our shame, and the parts of ourselves we don't want the world to see. Most people spend their entire lives building a mask to hide the shadow self. They date people who are safe. They date people who stay on the surface. They date people who allow them to keep their mask on. But then they met you. Your connection was not surface level. It was a soul connection. It was vibrational. When you looked at them, you didn't just see their mask. You saw them. You saw their potential. You saw their heart. You saw the light in them that they had forgotten existed. And while that felt incredible at first, like a high they had never experienced, it quickly became terrifying. Because a light that is bright enough to show their beauty is also bright enough to illuminate their flaws. You became a spiritual mirror for them. Every time they were around you, they couldn't help but see the parts of themselves that were unhealed. Your kindness highlighted their selfishness. Your emotional depth highlighted their emotional unavailability. Your stability highlighted their chaos. They care for you deeply. In fact, they admire you. But being around you forces them to confront the work they haven't done yet. And for a person who is not ready to face their own demons, that level of intimacy feels like burning. So they chose to stay away. They chose distance. Not because they wanted to escape you, but because they needed to escape the reflection of themselves that they saw in your eyes. They are protecting their ego from the painful truth that they might not yet be the person you deserve. They are staying away to keep their mask intact. But here is the secret. Once a person has been truly seen, the mask never fits quite right again. They are out there, in the silence, feeling the discomfort of that ill-fitting mask, thinking of the one person who saw the truth. Reason number 2. the overwhelm of emotional flooding. The second reason they have strong feelings but choose silence is rooted in the biology of the nervous system. In psychology, we call this emotional flooding. We often assume that when someone falls in love or feels a deep connection, it feels like a warm, fuzzy blanket. And for you, perhaps it did. For you, the connection felt like coming home. Felt safe. It felt like the pieces of a puzzle finally clicking into place. But for them, it felt like a tsunami. You have to understand that not everyone's nervous system is wired to handle deep intimacy. If this person has a history of trauma, abandonment, or a chaotic childhood, their brain has wired safety as independence. They have learned to survive by shutting down feelings, by keeping people at arm's length, by staying in control. When you came into their life, you broke through those defenses without even trying. You made them feel things they had locked away for years. Vulnerability, dependence, hope. For an avoidant nervous system, these feelings trigger a biological alarm bell. Their brain screams, "Danger! You are losing control. You are getting too close. If they leave, you will be destroyed." So, when the feelings for you became strong, when they started realizing that they were thinking about you all the time, that their happiness was becoming tied to yours, they didn't lean in. They panicked. They chose to stay away as a way to regulate their own nervous system. It is an act of self-preservation. They are essentially pulling the emergency brake on a train that they feel is moving too fast. This is why their behavior was likely so confusing to you. One minute they were warm, loving, and present. The next minute they were cold, distant, and silent. You probably asked yourself, did I do something wrong? Did I say too much? No, you did nothing wrong. You simply loved them, and that love was so powerful that it short-circuited their ability to cope. Right now, in the silence, they are trying to sober up from the intoxication of your connection. They are trying to regain their sense of control. They are trying to convince themselves that they don't need you, that they are better off alone, that it was just a fling. But the heart is stubborn. You can trick the mind, but you cannot trick the energy. Even as they stay away, even as they build their walls higher, the feelings are still there, bubbling under the surface. They feel the void where you used to be. They feel the phantom limb of your presence. They are staying away not to punish you, but to protect themselves from the sheer intensity of how much you matter to them. It is a decision born out of fear, not indifference. Reason number 3, the divine pause for soul evolution. Now we arrive at the third reason, which moves us from the psychological to the spiritual. This is the hardest one to accept, but it is the most crucial for your own journey. Sometimes, a person has strong feelings for you, but the universe itself steps in and enforces a separation. We call this the divine pause. There is a misconception that if two people are meant to be together, nothing can stop them. But destiny is more complex than that. Sometimes you meet the right person, but you meet them at the wrong stage of their evolution or yours. If you had stayed together in the state you were in, the relationship would have collapsed. Perhaps they were too immature. Perhaps they had lessons to learn about responsibility, about loyalty, or about self-worth that they could only learn through the pain of losing you. Perhaps you had lessons to learn about boundaries, about self-love, and about not placing your value in someone else's hands. The universe saw the potential of your union. It saw that this was a high-level soul contract. But it also saw that the foundation wasn't ready to hold the weight of that contract yet. So, the universe created a tower moment. It created circumstances, distance, arguments, or sudden silence, to pry you apart. They stay away now not because they want to, but because their soul knows on a subconscious level that they have work to do. They are currently in the chrysalis phase. They are being broken down so they can be rebuilt. And this is painful for them too. Do not think for a second that they are out there living their best life, completely unbothered. The soul that runs from its other half never knows true peace. They may distract themselves with work, with parties, or even with other shallow relationships. But those distractions are like band-aids on a bullet hole. They don't stop the bleeding. In the quiet moments when the distractions fade, they are forced to confront the truth. They let go of the best thing that ever happened to them. and that regret is a heavy stone to carry. But this regret is necessary. It is the fuel for their transformation. It is the catalyst that will force them to grow up. They have to miss you to appreciate you. They have to experience the cold to understand the warmth you offered. So they stay away because the timeline demands it. They stay away because they are not yet the person who can hold your heart without dropping it. And until they become that person, their higher self will keep them at a distance to protect you from further pain. The illusion of indifference. So, my friend, when you look at their silence, try not to see it as rejection. Try to see it for what it truly is, resistance. Indifference is easy. Indifference is light. If they truly felt nothing for you, they wouldn't need to hide. They wouldn't need to block you, avoid you, or run away. They would be able to be around you and feel nothing. But the fact that they stay away, that requires effort. That requires active energy. It takes a tremendous amount of willpower to keep yourself away from the person your soul pulls you toward. Every day they don't call you is a battle they are fighting against themselves. Every night they don't text you is a moment of restraint. Their silence is loud because it is filled with all the things they are terrified to say. The solution: what should you do with this knowledge? Now, the most important question remains: what do you do? If you know they care, if you know they are afraid, if you know the universe is at work, do you wait? Do you chase them? Do you try to save them? No. You do something far more powerful. You release them. This is the spiritual paradox of love. To bring something closer, you sometimes have to completely let it go. As long as you are chasing them, energetically or physically, they will keep running. It is the law of polarity. If you lean in, they lean back. If you pursue, they retreat. But the moment you stop chasing, the dynamic shifts. When you take your energy off of them and place it back onto yourself, you create a vacuum. You create a space. And nature hates a vacuum. When you stop pushing your energy toward them, they suddenly stop feeling the pressure. The wall of defense they built starts to come down because there is nothing attacking it anymore. And in that new silence, they finally have the space to feel their own feelings. They have the space to miss you. They have the space to realize that the fear of losing you is actually greater than the fear of loving you. So, your job right now is not to decode their silence. Your job is to become the lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run around the island looking for boats to save. It stands tall. It shines its light. It stays grounded in its own foundation. And because it is grounded, the boats can find their way home through the dark. Focus on your own light. Focus on your own joy. Build a life so beautiful, so full, and so radiant that you don't need them to complete it. Because a person who stays away out of fear can only be drawn back by safety. And nothing is safer, nothing is more magnetic, than a person who is at peace with themselves. The final ritual. If this message resonated with your spirit today, if you felt a weight lift off your chest hearing these truths, then I invite you to participate in a powerful energetic shift. I want you to stop sending them the energy of waiting and start sending them the energy of trust. Close your eyes for just a second. Visualize the person you are thinking about. See them standing at a distance. And silently, in your heart, say to them, asterisk, I see your fear. I honor your journey, but I choose my own peace. I release you to your growth, and I reclaim my power. Asterisk, and to seal this intention, to signal to the universe that you are done chasing and ready to receive, go to the comments below and write these simple words. I reclaim my power. Let those words be your declaration of independence. Let them be the moment you stop waiting for a text and start living your life. Because remember, what is truly meant for you will never miss you. If this person is your destiny, they will do the work. They will face the mirror. And they will find their way back to you, not because you forced them, but because they finally chose you. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today. You are strong. You are worthy. And you are deeply loved. Until next time, keep shining your light,